Hi everyone, I'm Suzanne. Thank you for joining me. In today's video, I am going to share with you our curriculum picks for the 2022 to 2023 school year. My daughter is going into the 4th grade, and this is our 5th year of homeschooling. Another video that I did for the upcoming school year is I walked through my planning and the scheduling that I'm doing for our upcoming school year theme, which for us is Harry Potter. So I won't be going in depth into that kind of thing in this video. I will show you the curriculum that I plan on using for our Harry Potter study for next year. And I will start off with those Harry Potter choices. Firstly, we're going to be using Build Your Own Library. And this has 7 different unit studies for all the Harry Potter books. There's 7 of them. Now, for us next year, I plan on using these for books. This is book 1, and I have book 2 to 4 in here bound together. So I'll be using that for books 1 and 4. I will also be using What is Magic? And this is for the first book, and I'll be combining that with Build Your Library study. And like I said, if you want to see more about that, I will leave a link below to the video that details how I plan on combining these curriculum and the schedule for the year. And if you want to see inside of these, then definitely check out my other video where I did a whole comparison and review of 3 different Harry Potter curriculum. So I'll leave those links down below. As I'm sitting here, I realize there are 2 science units, little science units that I plan on doing for the Harry Potter study next year. That I did purchase those curriculum, but I haven't printed and bound them yet. We will be doing a rock study, and I bought a unit study from Stephanie Hathaway, and I also bought an owl study for next year. So I think I'll show that in an upcoming video. Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot. It never even occurred to me till I was sitting here. So both of these Harry Potter studies that I just mentioned, when I combine them both, there's quite a bit of language arts in those studies. However, I also purchased a language arts study I'm going to share with you now, and I plan on using this over the next 2 years. So it crosses a wide range of elementary ages. It says right on the cover, grades 2 to 6. So this is Guest Hollow's Language Arts. And I'm really excited about this. It uses a lot of picture books. There's a lot of hands-on activities. I think my daughter's really going to enjoy this. And this also, you buy an additional Beowulf's grammar from them. And this is, I've heard so many great things about this. So this will be our grammar component, and this will be our language arts. And it just looks amazing. Like I said, this is the grammar component. And for their language arts, it does include a poetry study. If you see my other videos, you know I love those child introduction series, and I was going to start a poetry one with Vivian this year. However, when I reviewed this, it's on the book list for this. So I decided to just not get into that this year. We'll study it with our language arts next year. And there's a couple things that I wanted to note. So we will do poetry through this. It also includes English roots, and that's Greek and Latin. So we'll be studying words and their Greek and Latin roots, which I think is quite interesting. And there's words that you do every week for that. So there's a lot in this as well. And I'm not sure how we're going to spread that over next year in combination with everything else. So I'll show you a few more things I know we're adding into the mix as well for language arts. It seems like language arts always takes up the majority of your day, but we'll see how it pans out for next year. We're also doing all about spelling, and as I mentioned in a previous video, I kind of set this aside this year. It was a bit tedious. All about spelling, they suggest you start at the beginning no matter what stage you're at. And we had a couple things that were feeling a bit too tedious this school year. So I set this aside, and we already have level 1, level 2, and level 3. So we'll do those next year. And I'm not sure what we'll do after that, but I've purchased them. I've committed to doing them. I just say that because Guest Hollows has another spelling program that they suggest that you use as well. So we'll see if I switch over after I finish level 3. But if this is working great, we'll obviously continue on with that. But I'll let you know next year. And for handwriting, We are going to start cursive next year, and I've decided to use the Xaner Blouser. And I bought this, it was like a secondhand off Amazon, and I noticed the picture is different. So I'd say that's an older edition than they're currently selling, but that's fine. I can't imagine it's changed that much. And if somebody has an opinion on that, certainly let me know. There's another book for the level 2, so I'll definitely be getting that before the next school year as well. And we plan on continuing on with these scholastic word ladders. I started at the beginning. So this is grades, this is the second one, grades 2 to 3. And there's another one for grades 3 to 4. But I'm not going to purchase that until we finish and catch up with this one. If you've been following along with my updates, you will not be surprised by the next book I'm going to mention. And that is How to Teach Your Children Shakespeare by Ken Ludwig. So we will have half of this left to finish next year, plus a part about Twelfth Night from Part A. All right, that's a lot for language arts. Also, with our Harry Potter study and the 2 curriculum that I'm combining for next year, there's a fair amount of language arts in there as well. There's a vocabulary list, there's copy work and dictation, there is story explorations and questions and discussion points for each of the chapters that we read, and as well as writing exercises and some projects. So I'm just going to feel out next year and try to figure out what the best balance is for all these resources once I get into it. The other little piece that I want to add on next year is in between our Harry Potter books, because I've laid it out in such a way that there's a lot of wiggle room through the year. It doesn't fill the whole 40 weeks that we're doing a school or 30 some weeks that we're doing for school. So I'm adding in a couple of book guides for books I really want to make sure we read next year. And quite frankly, I'm really excited about these book guides, and these are by Hearth Magic. And I will be doing a review of a couple of these anyways over the next couple months. But this one is Narnia, and I really want to do this over Christmas next year. So this is a special guide about The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So we'll do that next Christmas. And then at some point in the second part of the year from like January to June, I also want to do this study, also by Hearth Magic. And this is The Green Ember. Yeah, so this is inspired by S.D. Smith's The Green Ember. And yeah, this looks really exciting. And I've heard so many great things about this series. So we're definitely going to do that at some point next year. Okay, that's everything I have for language arts. I always think it's so funny. It takes me so long to figure out what to do with our planning, and then I can tell you in a couple minutes exactly what we're going to use. Moving on to math, we will be continuing with Math UC, and next year we will be doing Gamma, which is for 3rd grade. So we're in our 4th grade, but we are doing the 3rd grade for Math UC. Now, in terms of science, I have my notes here. In terms of science, I just want to say that for next year, as of now, my plan is to do all the unit studies that are falling under that umbrella in the curriculum for Harry Potter. So next year I'm looking at is we're doing a lot of unit studies throughout the year. And that will include herbology, so it's the study of herbs, astronomy. We're also doing like the states of matter, that sort of thing. And there's a lot of projects that we'll be doing that will fall under that umbrella as well. We're going to do a rock study next year. So I'm going to wait and see how that feels next year. If it feels like we need to fill that in a bit more with more science, or if that's working out great and we'll just add in a couple more mini kind of unit studies throughout the year. But I'm definitely not planning on purchasing any more curriculum. This year we had signed up for Generation Genius, and we have not used that a lot, but for sure I'm not adding anything else into our curriculum for science specifically at this point. I will reevaluate that after Christmas next year and see how I feel that's going. I do monthly updates, so it will certainly be in those updates when that ends up under discussion again. On to geography. This is the first time I've purchased a curriculum for geography. Usually I put everything together myself. We did a lot about South America and Latin America this year, and yeah, different places on the continent. but this is a curriculum. This is from Guest Hollow. Yes, it is the same as the one we're using for language art, the same company. So this is a Guest Hollow, and this is a literature-based schedule for the studying of geography. I love the focus of this curriculum. It uses a lot of, like it says, it's literature-based, so it uses a lot of literature and takes us all over the world. Anyway, it just looked like a lot of fun. I haven't sat down with the scheduling. I'll do that in a future video. I'm not sure how all this is going to schedule out because this is literature-based. The language arts with them is a literature-based. Harry Potter is literature-based. So, yeah, it's a lot of books, which I'm really excited about. I love that. It's part of what I want to focus more on next year is more literature-based, more hands-on, more interest-led, have a bit more fun. You know, read a lot of books, all those things. So it fits in with where I want to go next year with our homeschool, but exactly how to make that happen so that it isn't overwhelming and, you know, we have a life besides reading books. I'll let you know. Another subject we all normally speak about is history. It is the one subject I am going to say at this stage of the game, I am undecided at the time of making this video. I didn't want to rush a decision. I can't seem to make up my mind what I want to do for history next year. I have Story of the World. We are secular homeschoolers. There's been a huge amount of discussion this year on if it's secular or not. So that has me hesitating on going forward with Story of the World. Also, I have FOMO. Everybody's talking about History Quest, which I've looked into, and it looks amazing. So, of course, it makes me want to go out and buy that, but I'm not 100% convinced that's the path I should be taking or want to take. I need to sit down and look at what we've already done in terms of history because we had quite a different year of history this year. We did a lot of Latin America study. Yeah, I just did a lot of different things. I did things for Hispanic Heritage Month. I did things for Harlem Renaissance Month this year. We did a women's history study, a small one this year. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do with history is I'm going to finish out the school year and then I'm going to consider it over the summer and really want to evaluate what we did accomplish with our Latin America study this year and how I can tie that into or use it to lead into where we need to go next with our history and also how it ties into what we're doing next year. Because if I use a program that requires a lot of projects and hands-on, does that make sense with what we're doing next year? Because I have so much with the Harry Potter and also with the Guest Hollow curriculum that I'm not sure that would be the best fit for next year. Again, I'm going to look at that and I will let you know when a decision is made on that front. I like to do mythology with my daughter. We've been doing it for the past 2 or 3 years on and off. And this year we dove back into Greek mythology. I know that next year I plan on doing Norse mythology. I had already had that intention and had that kind of mapped out in my head, what resources I wanted to use. And then, lo and behold, it is in, oh, I'm just reaching for it. It turns out it's in the geography study for Guest Hollow, which I thought was kind of cool. So I'm done planning how to do that because I'm probably just going to follow the instructions for this one. But I will be doing Norse mythology next year, which I'm really happy about because I plan on doing mythology every year in some way with my daughter. And it's nice to see that's being included next year. I also picked up Norse myths, and this is from Hearth Magic. Yes, I mentioned the book guides we're going to be doing. She also had a Norse myth study, so I grabbed that. It has really cool activities for us to do. So I definitely wanted to add that in. All right, the final piece of curriculum that I want to talk about is art. I have not done a major art study with Vivian, but I would like to, when I say major, I mean regular, I guess is probably more like it's a regular part of our curriculum that is a commitment week after week. It's just been a little too sporadic, but I plan on doing something next year for art. And I have these books to go through and I have something coming for Amazon that should arrive within the next couple days. And because There's a few here that I can't decide upon. I'm going to do a video on art study where I walk you through the different resources, kind of do like a brief look inside and talk through the pros and cons. And this is one of them, for example. This is Artistic Pursuits, which I've heard a lot of talk about in the homeschool circles. I also have this one that I picked up by Evan Moore, Teach Art to Children. And the other thing under debate with this is, am I going to start one this summer? Because I really think I'd like to. So this might be the one, I'm not sure. I have a couple of other things. Drawing is Basic. Like I said, something's coming from Amazon. This is, I bought these last year, if you saw my hauls, and I haven't touched them. I think they're amazing. So again, is this where I need to start? Where do I want to use them? Are we going to use them over the summer? I'm going to do a whole video on those. So if you want to see the inside of those or see how I go through that process, definitely make sure you're subscribed. And in terms of music, I might do up my own little music study for this upcoming school year. It's another one that's up for debate. I'd like to do a bit more research and decide how I want to handle the music. So, I mean, my daughter has been taking piano since she was 5 and she's turning 9. So that's fantastic. She still loves it. I'd like to do a bit more in terms of study. Those are all the resources I have to share with you. I would love to hear if you saw something that you're interested in, and I would love to hear what you're excited about for curriculum next year. Please leave it in the comments below. If you'd like to see anything further, please let me know. And if you like this video, please hit like. And if you want to see more like it, definitely hit subscribe. And I will see you soon with another video.